Hey world, it's Bean Willie coming back with another video. Of course, again out here at the park this morning. It's a little warmer this morning. It's only like 6:45, almost 7, and getting kind of toasty already here in H-Town. You dig? But I wanted to come back with this video, family, because I've been thinking about this in here, and I wanted to see if this can resonate with some people out there. I know that probably went through the same experiences and are probably going through the same things, and hope that things can help. Family, this video is about children growing up with narcissistic parents and what actually happens to these children, all right? Because remember, most times they become narcissists themselves, or they exhibit narcissistic behavior, okay? The level of empathy determines whether or not they become just an all-out narcissist, all-out narcissistic personality disorder, But it all depends. But there are two things that happen to children when they're growing up in a narcissistic household. Let's take boys for example. Sons growing up in a narcissistic household, if the narcissist is a father, okay, then that son normally, if he doesn't become a narcissist, then what he would basically end up doing is turning inward, actually not feeling adequate, not feeling like he was good enough, because the first person that as sons that you really want to impress and that you really want to get their approval is your dad. And so if your dad isn't at home with you, then what happens is you seek that elsewhere. That's why it's not an accident that most households with mothers with boys that doesn't have a father around, they seek that masculinity outward. And so it's going to end up either being in gangs, because see, as young men, it's important that we receive that nurturing not only from our mother, but we got to get that from our father as well, because that's going to dictate our interactions with females when we get older. That's going to dictate our level of choice with females when we get older, because when you feel inadequate or when you don't feel like you're good enough, and this is what normally happens with sons that grow up in a narcissistic household, they either going to become inward and feel inadequate, which in turn, especially if they're empathic, sorry family, especially if they're empathic, then they actually going to probably end up with narcissists as spouses and girlfriends, because remember, the narcissist can pick up on a person's emotional fragility like that. And so you got to make sure that you always understand that when you see certain people, okay, in relationships with other people, and you say, man, why is he with her? And why is she with him? Because a lot of times they probably grew up with a narcissistic parent that made them feel inadequate and made them not feel good enough, and so they end up in turn growing up and being in a relationship with narcissists. Because like I say, narcissists pick up on that, and they'll be whatever and whoever you want them to be. Because remember, there's no authenticity to a narcissist, and of course, a narcissist is emotionally bankrupt. And so it happens in different situations. It happens in different times, but it's going to happen because as humans, you grow up and you mimic those who take care of you. And so if you're in a loving environment, then you're going to probably grow up 9 times out of 10 and exhibit that same type of attitude, to the ones you love. But if you grow up in a household with a narcissistic mother, you're not going to know what that feels like, because it's not real. And narcissistic mothers, they ruin their sons, because see, the sons, once they get a certain age, they realize that it was all a phony. They realize that it's all fake, and so now they seek outward. And when you seek outward, you tend to put yourself in a situation where you'll be around individuals that's not healthy for you. All right, and that's why when it comes to narcissistic mothers and sons, it's important that father stays active in those boys' lives and be a constant positive role model. Because remember, narcissistic mothers, they don't love them children, especially boys. They don't love them. What they do, they use them as flying monkeys, because they're actually another source of supply for the narc. And then with fathers, narcissistic fathers, when it comes to daughters, they ruin the daughters because they give them entitlement. They make them feel like they can do no wrong, or they spoil them to death because they know that this type of treatment to your daughter as a narcissistic father will in turn, you know, provide him with supply for the rest of his life. Because normally that narcissistic daughter, that narcissistic father, actually done turned his daughter into a narcissist. And normally with the daughter, she becomes a narcissist at the age that she feels entitled. And remember, narcissists never grow up. So if she's 8 years old, that's what age she's going to be. And think about it, guys, if you were a narcissist. Think about your arguments. Think about the outbursts and the temper tantrums. Don't get it twisted. That's all on purpose.